what I found, it's either going to be, there's a few different approaches for it, but it would be helpful to know which one it is.
Okay.
So yeah, twists can be very helpful. They can feel really good. Being in alignment is a good thing. But it depends. So when you're practicing today, notice what hurts.
Okay.
And when. And that's information for you. And during the day, notice what happens. When you get up, when you sit down, really important to know that.
It's better as the day goes on.
Okay, that's information too. Because I don't know if this gets better. It's information. It's probably a good idea to talk to somebody about it, like a physiatrist kind of person, or.
Oh, I see a chiropractor, so I'll talk to him.
Right. So let me just say this. You can put it back in place, but the question is how to keep it in place.
Keep it there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any
Thank
other
you.
comments before we get going? All right, then we will begin. We will begin. So let's start sitting tall. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Maybe take your fingertips underneath the nose and just kind of check out if you're feeling air come in and out. Just kind of as a way to remind ourselves that this is the way we want to breathe, with nostril breathing. And let's start to bring movement into the body with some fluidity, starting with the right arm towards the diag, back and around. Ooh, that was a little crackly in my voice. And then the left side, just bending the elbow, inviting some movement in. Real gentle and feeling, and you might be rocking on your sitting bones as you do this. Let's even that up. And then we'll take the arms out to the side and circle. So both arms are circling at once, and you may want to come a little bit forward in your seat. That helps us to remember to sit tall. Ooh, I just heard a snap and crackle, and that can happen too. And reverse it, as long as it's not a hurt, right? Might feel like we're a little rigid or tight. And then come back to neutral. Let's place our hands at our heart and bring an intention in for your practice, which may be to feel good in the body. Sometimes we're sending a healing intention out to others as we practice for ourselves. As you breathe in, feel the inhale as it touches against your thumbs, with your thumbs at your heart. So heart center, it's our energetic heart as opposed to our physical anatomical placement of the heart. Breathe in. And breathe out. And let's find our first twist. And then you can kind of feel how this is. We're going to go real gentle. Let's take our arms into a cactus and slowly turn towards the right. And then fluidly move towards the left. You notice any pain? Now we're going real slow here. We're not going quite as deep as we might in about 15 minutes or so, right? As we get more into the practice, we can go a little bit deeper into our movements. So just twisting one way and then the other. And let's bring in Ganesha Mudra. Ganesha Mudra is that strengthening mudra. So you're bringing your thumbs inside, or your fingertips inside your palms, and then you're clasping them like wrists, like you're making a fist. You're making a fist, but you've got both hands clasped together. It's called Ganesha. And Ganesha is the elephant. The elephant in Sanskrit his name is Ganesha, the mythical strength. He's a model of strength. So pulling your hands away from each other, dropping the elbows slightly. Let's twist towards the right as we keep pulling the hands away from each other, and then twist towards the left. Now notice the weight in your feet as you do this twist. Let's go back towards the right and back towards the left. Then take your hands forward, relax the shoulders, press the right palm away from you and use your left hand to pull the fingers in. Maybe you clasp the thumb and pull it towards you. Woo. So you pull it away and towards you. I feel that right about here. Notice where you feel it. Let's do the other side. Push the left palm away, use your right hands to pull the fingers towards you and the thumb towards you. So clasp it and notice. And then let's turn the fingertips down and claw them towards our wrists. And then pressing palms away. Now we got to clasp Ganesha Mudra the other way. So I typically have my right hand behind my left. So I'm going to take my left behind my right, drop the elbows, pull them away from each other. That's your strength. Pull away. You know, people say, how can I build strength in my hands? This is actually one way to do this. Notice where the strength is coming from. It's not just the hands. You might feel this in your core engaging. Try to drop the shoulders so they're not lifting up like this. Let them drop down. And then let's release it and shake it out. Shake it out. Let it go. All right, so we're going to extend the right leg. And inhale, take your arms up overhead and take your thumbs, cross them over, point your fingers up, Charlie's Angels Mudra. For those of you familiar with Charlie's Angel, right? All right, so now we're going to make a circle towards the right, around and down, pointing towards the toes and then back up. So as you move, push down through the heel and down through the left foot and come back up. That feels really nice on the lower back. It should feel nice, I should say. Let's take it the other way. Reverse it. Reverse it. Lift up and around. You don't have to go all the way down. In fact, I wouldn't. How about like a half circle here as we begin? And then lift it back up. Beautiful. Now we're going to find a little bit deeper of a twist. Bring the right hand outside the left thigh. Left hand perhaps behind you like so, or clasp the back of the chair. Lift tall and twist. Neck last. Feel the sensation of the twist. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Come back to center. Extend both legs. Point the toes and flex them and point them and circle the ankles around and about. And let's switch it up. So now, right knee's bent, left heel is forward. Inhale, take your arms up overhead and make the circle. Take it, and let's do a little half circle here so it's not quite the full circle. If you're feeling like you have the range of motion, go for it. Go for it. But always mind your body. Always mind the messages that the body is sending you and reverse it. One more time around. Lift up. Let's find our twist. Left hand outside, right side. My hand is pushing against the outside of the thigh, but the thigh is pressing into my hand. Make space in your spine before you twist. So we lift up and we take an inhale. exhale, we twist. Head last. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Let's drag the heel back in. So often when there's that thigh pain, there can be like tightness in the hamstrings. So go ahead and take your hands underneath your hamstrings and massage them. And massage them. In our in-person class yesterday, we were doing a lot of roller work in trying to get into the IT band, because that's a tough area to get into. But massage is so good. So massage the back of your hamstrings. You can also use something like a cane. You might not have it with you, but massage the back of the hamstring. Ooh, I felt that. All right. Now we're going to do some front of the thigh stretch, which is why it's nice to stretch out the hamstrings so they don't cramp up. First, let's lift up the right knee and circle the foot around. So we warm up the foot before we go to this thigh stretch. And then point and flex it. And then let's tap it down. Just kind of tap it down. Toes, ball of the foot and the bottom of the toes are down. Then you're going to switch it up and tap the top of the foot down. We're just kind of warming it up, bringing some circulation into the area. Oops, you guys move over there. And then let's do the other side. So you know what? I can even see the foot change color just from doing that alone. Bring the left knee up, circle the ankle around and about, reverse it. And you can use your hand if you want to give it a little bit of help. You can always cross it over if that works for you, if it feels okay with your hip, right? And then kind of tap the foot down, just wake it up. You know I love the tennis ball. That's my favorite, or the neuro ball. Now we're going to just tap the toenail side of the foot down. You could do it on the side of the chair as well. Here comes Oscar. Tapping the top of the foot. Okay, Oscar, you're interrupting the class. And then come back to neutral. Come on in, Oscar. Come on. Oh boy, you're in or you're out, Oscar. Sorry, guys. He's just gonna be fussy today, I think. All right, so we are going to turn now towards the right side of the chair and sit towards the end of the chair, and you can use your hands on the back of the chair for balance. Then we're going to drop the outside leg down. Now, it can be helpful to have this blocker, a blanket, to set your ankle or top of the foot down onto. So first of all, if you cramp, the blanket's nice. If your knee doesn't reach down, the blanket or the block is nice. So I'm like off the chair here, and this is going to make the SI joint, which we were just talking about, a little uneven. So a block or something that lifts it up so they are even might be a nice thing to do. And then holding onto the chair, you may or may not lengthen the leg. It's going to depend on the stretch here, right? Depend on the stretch. Pull the ribs back, whether your knee is here or back there, or somewhere in between. And then maybe the arm lifts up. Yeah, it's always a maybe, because if something is agitating you, please do not do it. If something's painful, we need to figure out why. Breathe in and breathe out. And let's step this foot back. We're going to take another twist. We're going to twist now towards the back of the chair. Take your hands towards the back of the chair. Hold on to it. You can even use it as a little bit of leverage. Remembering, lift tall through the spine, then twist it towards your right. You may take one arm out or both. I kind of like the one. So right arm is I'm turning twisting towards the right, but see what's good for you. I just feel the shoulder blade on the back, and that feels yummy, yummy, yummy. Yummy is a yoga word. And then we'll come back to center and we'll do the other side. So you can even massage the thigh again, that's gonna stretch. All right, Oscar, you can come in, but you're either in or out, buddy. Come on, let's go. Come on, in you go. You're disrupting the class, Oscar. Okay, so we're gonna turn the opposite way. And the outside leg is gonna come down. And you might just even give it a little tap as you tell it, we're going down here. Toes can be curled under in this outside foot, or top of toes can be down. I'm holding onto the back of the chair for balance. And then we can bring this outside arm upward, relax the shoulder down. Now your ribs may be coming forward like this, and you won't feel a stretch most likely. So pull the ribs back as you lift up through the crown of your head. Breathe in and breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out. And you'll feel a little toning in your belly as you angle the sitting bones down. So feel this line of energy from your really, it's from the front of your thigh going all the way up the outside of your body. And then let's bring the foot back forward. Now, if anytime you get a cramp, you know you want to come out of it, take a break, breathe, maybe come back in. Now we're going to turn towards the back of the chair for our twist. We feel little ripples as the spine lifts up and lengthens upwards through the crown of our head. And maybe we take the left arm out to the side this time and feel the shoulder blade on the back. That's such a great feeling. You might want to pull your ribs back a little bit here if it feels like they're jutting forward. Then you will feel your shoulder blades on your back even more so. Take a breath in and a breath out. And let's come back to center and notice how you feel. We're going to stretch the back of the leg with a strap, and maybe you're placing the foot on something in front of you. So like an ottoman or another chair. It's just so nice to do that. I'm going to turn this way and put this chair here so you can see. I think it's worth it to have that second chair. Yes, Oscar, that was the metal chair making a ding. And another thing, if hands are sore, like from holding things or arthritis, you can make a loop in the strap and then place the strap around your foot. And instead of holding the strap with your hand, you can place your forearms again. So I'm weaving my hand in the loop and then pulling my elbows towards me, lifting them. And ooh, it's a nice stretch without using the hands. Now, if you feel the knee locking, which means the shin is pushing down and you're feeling, you can look at it. If you see like a crease in your pants, it's probably a good idea that the knee is locking. We want to soften it. And the strategy is to push down through the heel and get a little upward movement through the back of the knee. So as you push down through the back of the heel, the knee like pops up a little bit. So feel that. And we want to stay here for about 30 seconds or so. So take some nice full breaths in and full breaths out through the nose. Breathe in and breathe out. And then we'll take the foot back down and do the other side. You could have both feet up at the same time, but this is a nice way to do it. Then you feel you can play with pressing down through the opposite foot. So I'm going to do that tie clasp like this again. And we're pressing the big toe mound away from us. And that changes it up too. So I'm not looking at my feet or my foot, but spread the toes. Push the ball of the foot away like you're stepping on the gas. Imagine the pinky is going towards you, the pinky toe, and feel. Notice how I don't have to feel like I'm touching my toes for this stretch. Take some breaths, smooth cyclical breaths in and out. So you are strengthening, your muscles are activating as you push into the strap. At the same time, you may be feeling a stretch. And if you're not, don't worry, because we're going to do this again in a little bit different way. Releasing the strap, placing the foot down. Now we're going to put the foot back up. So we're alternating. This time you can have your hands at your hips, hands on the side of the chair, or your hands can go to the chair in front of you as we lean forward. Now, if your foot is not on a chair, then your foot's going to either be down, like, I guess I should not assume that you guys all have a second chair here. So your foot's either going to be down like this, or you're lifting it and your fingers are interlaced underneath the leg as we lean slightly forward and see how that stretches. I think it's a lot easier with the strap though. This time we're going to lean a little bit forward. So if you don't have the chair, this is what it looks like. Notice how I'm not rounding to touch my toes. We're not going for that. We're going for more lifting up and out and leaning forward. Lifting up and leaning forward. Pull the shoulders back. You can press down and feel the sole of the opposite foot on the earth. So it's not this, because this is not what we're going for. This is getting a stretch up here. We don't necessarily, that's not our purpose. We lift tall and we stretch. And I highly recommend a second chair or something to put your legs up on. Let's release that. We're going to go down to the earth. We got stuff to do on the earth, Oscar. And here we go. So you might want a blanket. I'm going to move this chair out of the way so it doesn't block your view. Place the chair against the wall to come on down. Come down safely. We're going to do some work that does help the SI joint, but it's also great for stretching the front of the thighs. We're going to use this chair, by the way, so keep it near you. Come on down. I'm actually going to bring 2 blocks with me too. 2 blocks, chair, blanket. Come on down. Then I'm going to place the chair so that I can show you lunges. And so here we go. And hold on to the chair, or you can use blocks. If you don't want to use a chair, it's okay. We're going to step 1 foot up and you can use your hand to step this foot up. Then you want to position yourself so your knee's not going to, as you go forward, is not going to push into the chair. It can go towards the chair, but not into it. So it could be like this. So a little cushion on the back knee and front knee is up. And you can always move the chair a little bit forward if you want to make space. And we're going to just rock forward and back. Now your toes can be down on the back or curled under. For right now, I'm curling mine under because it gives a little bit of muscular action. And we're just rocking forward and back. Then let's take the hips side to side. So just alternate. This is a very gentle movement. You don't need to rock it too far. And now let's make little gentle circles with the hip. And just feel that. It should feel you might feel a stretch, but it should be gentle. And then let's come off of this knee and give it a little break and do the other side. So I'm switching so you can see. You stay where you're at. We're going to bring the leg up, however is best for you. You can have your forearms on the thigh. You can bring the knee up here. I'm just moving this blanket a little bit. And have the knee so it's almost touching, but not crashing into the chair as we go forward and back. And what you're feeling, or what most likely you're feeling, is a stretch in the front of the back thigh. Stretch in the front of the back thigh. Now we're going to go side to side and front and back. And then let's make some circles with the hips. Make some circles with the hips. And then let's come on out of that. And let's take a stretch here. So let your hands come forward towards the chair and take your hips back. Or you can take your hands down. This is more like an active child pose. If your feet go down and that's okay for you, that's fine. You can widen your knees a little bit. So we're no longer on our kneecaps. You never want to be on the kneecap anyway. So when you are doing a thigh stretch, try to get either, so you're not on the kneecap, either right above it, so there's no pressure on the kneecap when we're going to this thigh stretch, which we're going to go into now. So switching, take the outside of the foot forward, the back knee, try to get off the kneecap. So your weight is on the front, the bottom of the thigh, the front and the bottom of the thigh. Now we're going to play with this lunge, and this is where you may have to adjust where your knee is, your back knee and your front knee. Then see if you can lift tall in this lunge. Pull your ribs back. Pull them back. Okay, so when we pull the ribs back, I'm already feeling a stretch through the front of the back thigh. If my ribs are forward, I feel nothing. Got nothing here. So we have to pull the ribs back. And what that means is they're stacking over the hips. Then once that's in alignment, we could lean a little bit more forward. Maybe we take one arm up. Maybe we take the other arm up, or both, depending on how your balance feels at this moment, or keep both hands down. This is a wonderful stretch for the back thigh. It's also perhaps getting into this hip a little bit. Let's take that knee back, give it a little break, and we'll do the other side. So you can have your knee wider like this, or foot wider like that, or bring the knee forward. Feel where it's right for you and most comfortable for you. And then place your back knee so you're not on the kneecap, because kneecaps don't really love that. It should not be painful. So my weight is more towards the bottom of the thigh, above the knee. Now, we lean slightly forward, but we take our ribs back. And really, you only need your fingertips on the chair. This is a little bit different of a stretch, and it's okay. That might get more into this area. We can vary these lunges to get into different areas. If we take the leg out like this, it might get into the inner thigh more. I'm working the back thigh right now, trying to lengthen it. So once we get our alignment, we pull back the ribs. Maybe we lift one arm and feel what that's like. Breathe in and breathe out. and in and out. Maybe take the other arm up. So this is a balance posture. Yes, it is. Maybe you've got a little bit of pulsation going here because this could be an intense stretch. You can always come out of it too, right? Like say, oh, she's staying in it too long, I'm coming out. And do. Let's take both knees back and let's take another child pose. We can kind of do away with this chair. Let it go out. I'm going to put it to the side so you don't have to look at it. Come into your child pose. Let's do a nice side bend. So you can take your knees a little wider than your hips. Maybe you've got a little blanket underneath the ankles. This is a good stretch for the front of your ankles and the tops of your feet. Then we're going to walk our arms forward. Now, if your shoulders are saying no, thank you, then bend your forearms and rest your forehead on your forearms. Breathe here. Breathe in and breathe out. And breath is in and breath is out. We're going to turn this into a side bend by walking our arms towards the right. The hip's going to feel like it's moving towards the left, and you can pull it back. Oh, that feels so good. If your shoulders hurt, bend your elbows a little bit. No pain, all gain. No pain, all gain. Take a full breath in through the nose and a full breath out. And breathe in and breathe out. Move to center and walk your hands the other way. Walk your hands the other way. Now pull back through the right hip as you take your arms towards the left. Breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Enjoy this side bend. You'll feel the ribs spreading on the right side as you side bend to your left. And then let's inhale and come back to center. Now, we're going to go on to our bellies. And some of you like to put a blanket underneath your hips. It helps your lower back, so feel free to do that. I want to talk a little bit about strengthening the buttocks, which also can be very protective for the SI joint. So let's come on down, stack your forearms, relax your forehead. We're on our belly. Take a few breaths here, breathing in and out and feeling the belly press into the mat as you inhale. And then you'll feel a softening and releasing downward on the exhale. Now, without moving anything, go ahead and tone your right hip. So tone it, and you'll feel your belly pull in and up, and then release. Now let's tone the left hip. Tone it, and release. Notice how when you tone these hips, you're feeling the core engages as well. Now go ahead and tone both hips. You might find it easier to do both rather than one. So check this out. Tone both hips. It's like you're pulling your outer hips towards the inner. Your buttocks tones, and it lengthens down towards your heels. And then release that. One more time. Tone your hips, pull them in. Now, this is not a squeezing. I'm not using the squeeze word, although we tend not to do that in yoga. But if it helps you to engage it, then think squeeze. What we don't want is an over engagement. So toning hips, because that can cause pain in the lower back. Now, let's go ahead and lift a leg while we tone the right hip. We're going to lift the right leg. Inhaling, lifting the right leg so it's about hip height. We don't want it up here. We want it about, you don't want to lift it much higher than hip height. Stretch out through your toes and think about toning the right hip. So it's toning, you're stretching your toes back. Exhale, release the leg. Other side, we're going to tone the left hip, lift the leg, stretch it back. Lift the leg, tone the left hip, stretch the toes back. Take your mind's eye to the hip. You might be saying, I don't know what she's talking about. No worries. Just think about it. So we're toning. If squeezing helps, think squeezing and release. So we've done this before, but our focus has not been so much on toning. And I want you to feel the difference between kind of just lifting the leg and not toning. This is a very different action to just lift it and not tone it. In fact, try it. Lift the leg and don't tone and notice how that feels. And then lift the other one and notice how that feels. Now let's go back to toning and lifting both legs. So inhale, right leg lift, toning the right hip, exhale, lowering, inhale, lifting the left leg, toning the left hip, and release. Now tone both hips and feel your legs stretch back. You can push the tops of the feet down if you tone your hips. Now, maybe you add an arm in. This is kind of a Pilates move, right? But it starts from locust, from yoga, which we call Shalanasana or locust pose. Right leg lifts, it tones. Maybe the left arm lifts and you press down through the right. So I'm karate chopping, the right hand down is the left arm lifts. Now try not to lift your head so much that the neck kinks back, but rather think about the back of the neck staying long and not kinked. Let's exhale, release it down, and we'll do the other side. Left leg lifts, karate chop the left arm down, and lift the right arm and reach it forward. So we're reaching forward and back and toning. Ooh, that's a lot of work. Release it. Keep both arms forward now. We're going to lift legs and arms together. Are you ready? Here we go. So lift legs and arms. You might push your legs in, your bunions in towards each other. Tone your hips. You might take your legs a little bit further apart. Tone your hips. Exhale, release. One more time because that was so much fun. This time, if you want to take your arms out to the side, we call that super person pose, super yogi pose. So it looks like this. Arms are out to the side, tone your hips, lift your arms up. Isn't this one fun? Oh, yes. Lots of fun, right? Maybe we sway to the right and sway to the left. And then come back on up. And let's go on to our buttocks. Into bridge. So we've done some back bends here. Let's go into bridge. We'll continue this. So feeling the back of your little bony point behind your head, it presses down. Press your feet down. They're just outside your hips. Push them down and then release. Now I want you to feel like you're pulling the right heel towards you. Notice how the hamstrings engage and then release and let that go. Push down through the left foot and pull the heels towards you and release. Let it go. Now let's lift the right and the left and press them in toward the bunions in towards each other. Pull the belly in, press your bottom of your ribs down, Knees are over hips. And then release, let that go. Let's pull in again. Pull the ribs down, belly tones, feet are pressing in towards each other. Release. Now, let's drop the right toes down, keeping the ribs down. Inhale, lift it up. Push the ribs down, lower the left toes, dip them into the imaginary warm water and lift it on up. Or cold snow, if that's your preference. Let's go again. Drop the right toes down, keeping the ribs down. Inhale, lift it up. Left toes down. Inhale, lift it up. The ribs are staying down. One more time. Now, if you want, you can either alternate feet or both toes dip down, but it's real hard. I'm warning you. Keep those ribs down and then lift up. That is hard, isn't it? Let's do that one more time. One more time. Maybe, so you can always do just one foot and then the other. And it might not dip all the way down. We're trying to keep the ribs down as we do this. Push the ribs down and maybe lower both big toes down and then lift them up and pull your knees in towards you and give yourself a hug and massage your spine right and left and left and right and right and left. That was a lot of core work. Let's extend the left leg, pulling the right knee in towards us. And then push out through the left heel. And switch it up. Pull the left knee in, extend the right heel away. Tone the muscles on your right leg or the bottom leg, the straight leg. And release. Let's bring the legs up overhead, knees bent. And maybe you straighten one leg up towards the sky and then switch it up. Now my ribs are still pushing down, believe it or not, they are. We want to keep those down so the lower back doesn't collapse. Pull the ribs down. Now, let's extend without touching down the left leg as we pull the right knee in, keep the ribs down. Switch it up. Extend the right leg, pull the left knee in, but it's not touching down. And you can actually keep the leg up rather than take it down. It's harder down. Let's try that. Leg is up. Right leg is up, left knee's in. Notice how that feels different. And let's play with slowly lowering the legs. But if you feel like your lower back is lifting, then the legs are going too low. All right, let's come back to center. Place your feet down. That was a long time. Pull the right knee in, circle the foot up, press it away. So you're making circles. You're making circles, pulling knee in, lifting leg to the sky, pressing heel out, pulling knee back in. Like a wheel. That's it. We just want to bring some movement in. Now, pull your right knee in towards you. Take your hands around the shin or the foot. You can reach it, but don't stress your neck out. Pull the knee in towards your shoulder. Maybe you feel an inner thigh stretch here. You also can take your right hand on the thigh and gently press the knee to the right. The whole leg's in alignment though. We're externally rotating it. So it looks like this. And then pulling it in a little, let's pull the knee back in towards the shoulder. Stretch the leg up, extend it away, pull it on in. Ready for the other side? Let's first push both heels out, away from us. Press the ribs down. Press the ribs down, push out through the heels and the big toes and spread them. Now keep all that, take your arms up overhead. Keep the ribs pressing down as you take your arms back. Circle the arms up, Roll them down. Inhale, arms up. Lift them up and back behind you. But we're keeping those ribs down as we move the arms. If the ribs come up, push them down and maybe don't take the arms so far back. Let's do the other side. Bend the right knee, place the foot down. Take the left knee in towards you and circle the foot around. So the leg is, the foot's up, the foot presses away, the knee pulls in. Up, away, knee in. Make your circles. They can get bigger and bigger. You can even play with them getting a little bit smaller. That takes a little bit more control. Have a little fun with it. And then place both feet down. All right, let's go for a bridge. We're pushing down through our feet. Inhale, lift your hips, walk your shoulders underneath you. Feel your hips tone like we were doing in locust pose. Feel both hips tone. You can check it out. Touch your hips. Touch your hips. See, feel it. And then release the hips down. One more time. Push down to your feet. Inhale, lift the hips. Walk the shoulders underneath you. Feel the heels push down and pull towards you. Now you feel your hamstrings activate. Release, lower the hips. Let's walk in place. Take the right knee in towards you, drop the foot down. Left knee towards you, drop it down. Pull the right in, let it go. So we are walking in place on our backs. One, and then the other. You got it. Few times. Really feel the sensation of the foot as it meets the earth. It might feel like a little bit of a slap. Just don't let it be too hard of a slap. One more time each side. Let that go. Let's roll over now to our side for the clam pose. So you can rest your head or your ear on your bent elbow. And we're going to do little clams. So you're going to lift the knee and lower it down. The feet are towards each other. So it's just opening up a little bit. Now, if you have the mobility, you can go a little bit more. I'm pretty open, I'm told, so my knee might go higher, but keep your knees. Don't worry about how high it goes. Go to your range of motion. What you should be feeling back here is your hip toning. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower it down. So you're going to feel that isolation. Lift it, lower it, and lift it, and lower it. A few more times. And then extend the bottom leg, push the foot away, and pull the heel towards you. Maybe the footprint steps into your inner thigh, or you let the knee come down. You're using your top hand for balance, like you're standing on the earth. So if the knee turns out, go ahead and push the foot into the inner thigh, not the knee. Tone your belly, pull your ribs back. Maybe you lift your arm, maybe you take it overhead. That's a balance act too. Feel your hips tone. Feel your belly tone. Really push the foot into the inner thigh if your knee turns out. And then let's switch it up and do the other side, clamshell pose. I actually don't think that's really a yoga pose, but it's okay. It works our hips. You might have taken that one from PT. But, you know, PT takes a lot from yoga, so yoga's thousands of years old. Not that we're territorial about it, right? We share. Relax on your bottom elbow. Your knees are stacking. We're going to lift the knee up and lower it down. And lift it and lower it. So inhale exhale, lifting and lowering. And you might feel like one hip tones quicker than the other one. So they're working. You can feel this muscle. It's pretty cool how we must not use this muscle very much or strengthen it. At least I feel it right away. So I got to speak for myself. I must not use it very often. I'm already feeling some tightening going on here. You can always take a break. Make sure you're breathing in and out with your movements. That's what makes it yoga. And then one more, and we will extend the bottom leg. Oh, I got a pillow to push into, that's nice. Knee can go forward or push foot into inner thigh. You can use your hand to bring it there. You can also push it into the shin. That's fine. Still a balance pose. Gently press your footprint in to your bottom leg, but not at the knee joint, above or below the knee. So the knee might be facing forward, it might be facing upward, footprint on the shin or the inner thigh. Now, notice if your ribs are falling forward and pull them back. Then feel your belly tone, your hips tone. It's going to feel different. Maybe even pull in on that pelvic floor area, little toning there. Maybe the upper arm lifts. This is definitely a balance posture at this point, because we could easily tip. We're not going to go very far though. And maybe take the arm over the ear and stretch it long. Push out through your heel. Yeah, yes. Nice lengthening. And release, let it go. Let's press on up for some butterfly pose. Why does time go so fast in this class? I'm telling you. Ask her, why does it go so fast? We'll sit on a blanket and maybe you go into butterfly where you're bringing your feet together, knees out. A lot of my students love turtle pose, and in turtle pose you can round the spine. I'll show that in a moment. Let's stay in butterfly. Hands on the shins. You can pull the shins in towards you. Again, this is your range of motion, not mine. Sit tall. Pull the ribs back. You must think I sound like a broken record with those ribs, but I remember that mine are going forward. When I pull them back, it changes the whole pose. Then we're going to lean forward, feel a lengthening as we lean forward. When you feel your range of motion, stop. So we're lengthening, our tailbone's going back, sit bones are spreading back. As the spine moves forward, head is an extension from the heart. And then take some breaths here. Take some breaths here. Feel the belly tone. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Notice how we're not doing this. We're not doing this. You want to try to keep the spine long. You could place your palms down or your fingertips down and lengthen as long as you have that range of motion. But keep the spine long and not rounded. Then let's come on up. Let's extend the right leg out to the side, keeping the left knee bent in. And rock yourself forward and back on your hips. Find center. Maybe point and flex the right foot. And then we're going to walk our fingertips forward, foot flexed, till you feel a stretch. We're still long spine, shoulders on our back rather than this rounding. When you feel a stretch, pause and breathe. If it's too much, back off. Feel a nice smooth breath. If your breath is labored or pausing, good chance that we're stretching too far. Now we're gonna come on back up. Now take your right hand towards your left foot, shin, or thigh, and this is your right hand, and your left hand behind you. And we're in a little twist once again. You could also bring this foot in if this is better for you and be right here. So my footprint is down, my elbow's pressing into the inner thigh. We're still in a twist. So you pick which one's good for you. And then we'll reverse it. We're going to reverse it. So now the left leg's out to the side, the right knee's in. Point and flex the foot a few times. And we're going to walk our fingertips forward till we feel a stretch. Shoulders are on the back. Sit bones are moving back. When you take your sit bones back and the lower spine is not rounding back, so you should feel a little lower back curve here going inward. If it's out like this, then you're not going to feel the hamstring stretch. So we want to press the sitting bones back and wide. When you feel a stretch, stop. Take some smooth breaths. If you feel like you can go further, feel free. And after about 30 seconds, we're going to walk our hands back. You could hold these poses a lot longer, by the way, but you don't want rigidity to set in. So it's a balance act. Now we're going to take the right fingertips behind us, left hand to shin or thigh. For our twist, we lift tall once again as we started, as we twist, or step your left foot down and press your upper arm or elbow or forearm into this thigh and leg, inside of the leg, and then the leg pushes into the arm as we twist. Beautiful, nice resistance as we twist, feels so good. And come back to center. And I know we're almost done. I hear the bell. Someone just turn that bell off. There we go. All right, so now we're just going into our resting pose. I'm going to give you a few options though. A lot of people like the restorative turtle before they go into their relaxation pose. Turtle, it's okay if you round your spine. We're intentionally doing that. So feet are further away, arms weave inside the legs and around, or you can just bring them forward like this. So imagine you're a turtle and you're relaxing and releasing your head. Some people put a block here and they like to rest their head on the block. But in general, just let it go for a few breaths before you go into your Shavasana. It's a nice way to turn inward. Forward folds are a wonderful way to relax the nervous system. So when we're bringing our torso towards the legs, that is a trigger towards the nervous system to relax. Hands can also be out in front of you. And then we're going to come on out of it and lie on our backs and maybe bring your feet on top of a chair seat or a bolster underneath your knees for your final resting pose. You can see Oscar, he's in a fetal position on his side, which some people can't relax on their back or their belly. And so they do rest on their side. And I guess canines do too, huh? So placing a bolster underneath your knees is nice. Also, there's this pose, or it's called Stonehenge, where you take blocks and you put it underneath the bolster, and that just lifts it up a little bit more, like this. So if you don't have a chair near you, you put the blocks under bolsters or pillows, and then you can rest your legs up on Stonehenge. Stonehenge is kind of cool. And maybe your hands are on your belly or arms down by your side. And so you are releasing any holding in the body in your relaxation pose. Your thoughts are trickling down like the snow outside for many of us today. And as our thoughts dissipate, the snow is lighter and lighter. We have less and less thoughts. But that might not happen so fast. So we just keep focusing on our breath, returning again and again to the focus of the breath. With each snowflake that drops, we may have to return again and again as we breathe. Oh, a thought comes in, the snowflake drops, and we return to our breath. And another thought comes in and another snowflake falls, and we return again to our breath, like the snow globes. Relaxing the whole body. Feeling the toes relax, the feet, lower legs, the knees, the upper legs, the hips, the torso, the shoulders, the upper arms, elbows, lower arms, fingers on the right side, fingers on the left side. The belly's relaxing. You feel the subtle sensation of the beat of the heart. The face is relaxing. The tongue is relaxing to the back palate. And the eyelids are gently closed. So that the whole body is a pool of sensation. Calm and rested. Stay as long as you want in your resting pose on this very snowy Friday in Michigan on March 10th. If you're rising, rise slowly. Let me bring our palms together where we started. Perhaps returning to the intention that you set for your practice. Expressing gratitude for this mind, this body, and the spirit, and the gift of this breath that threads them together for all the blessings in our life. Thank you to the Michigan Parkinson Foundation for offering these classes. Namaste, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Yes, Oscar, class is over. Yes, it is. Any questions or anything? I'm here. I'm doing a stretching info session with Dr. Gretchen, who's a physical therapist, tomorrow at 1. If anyone's interested, you can go to my website and sign up. It's free. And we take questions as well. So if there's anything you want me to ask her, I'll make sure to ask tomorrow.
Thank you, Mindy. Namaste.
So good to
Thank you,
hear your
Mindy.
voice, Mary. Thank
Have
you,
a great
everyone.
weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
Thank you, Mindy. It was very good.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
So good to have all of you.
Yeah. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Keep warm and safe.
Yeah. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.